Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Amrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya Asato Ma Gamaya Tomaso Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrit Yoma Amritam Gamaya
Hello, hello. It is Tuesday, 5:55. It is time for us to connect, for me to drop in and share whatever it is. I'm wiggly again. Share what it is that is ready to be explored for tonight. So we begin with a huge thank you to Alicia Mathewson yet again for the Asato Ma Prayer. If you are not familiar with this beautiful chant, it is lead me from untruth to truth, lead me from darkness to light, and lead me from death to immortality. And so we begin this space with that chant, that invitation to remember, remember that we are much, much, much more than what we think we are in this very moment. This human experience is just a fraction, a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of what it is that we're experiencing in our soul's journey. And it's easy to forget that. It's easy to get in the the down and dirty of the density of earth. So this space is a pause, a chance to remember, a chance to laugh and to play and to delight in this journey in all of its expansiveness, not just what you see and hear and feel right in this moment. A reminder of all that we've ever been, all that we ever will be, all that we are, like right here in this experience, all that we are, how much bigger than what we think. So the theme for tonight, apparently, because it's the only words I could hear in my meditation, so I'm just going with it, is back to the basics. And it was funny when I was in my meditation earlier, I'm like, back to the basics? I talk about basics every day. Like, what do you mean back to the basics? And then that's all I kept hearing is back to the basics. And so I grabbed my journey, my book, my One Day, My Soul Journey in the Gaia Tribe book. If you have not seen it before, this is the book that I'm talking about. And it's sitting there. I don't know if I'm going to refer to it or read from it, but it's near me, and it feels like there's something that is going to be coming from that into what we are going to talk about tonight. So I begin with just a little, I guess, how would I describe it? I'll share the experience as much as I can of a concert I went to on Friday night. The Imagine Dragons concert, and it's a parallel for what I believe we're going to be exploring tonight. The let's see, yeah, pause. So much. There's so much to say, and my mind is like, pick one direction, go one direction. All right. My husband and I decided to go see Imagine Dragons. All right, let's be honest. I decided that we should go see Imagine Dragons. You know how people always say, well, to be honest, or honestly, or telling you the truth. I'm like, so what are you doing the rest of the time? So I'll just start right from the beginning with all truth telling. I thought it would be an awesome idea for my husband and I to go see Imagine Dragons. And the closest location was Indianapolis. So I convinced him that it would be a fantastic thing for us to do, even though he doesn't necessarily like listen to the band on a regular basis. Which, by the way, when we were there, he's like, I knew every song. I'm like, exactly. Exactly. Of course it's a great show. I have seen them once with my daughter. She introduced me to them. She introduces me to lots of good music all the time, as does my son. And so we went to see them in Columbus a few years ago before they were as big as they are now. And it was an incredible show. I mean, just the connection that Dan Reynolds and his band has with the audience, it's just so powerful. And he sends all this love out, and he's open to receiving all of it back. And it's just this beautiful flow of like music and vibration and fun and love and truth, you know, in this huge arena with all these people who also are exchanging the same way because he's holding the space so beautifully. So of course, I was like, yeah, we need to go. This is going to be really, really good. So we drove, and drove and drove and drove. There was lots of construction. It took a long time. Anyway, we got to Indy and we went to the show, and it looked like it was going to rain, and it never rained the whole night. Tiny little drizzle once or twice, but nothing that interrupted the show. And from the moment the band came out, we never sat down. Nobody around us sat down. Like, it was just full, incredible music for 2 hours. And the reason it feels relevant to bring it forward tonight in this space is because of the way that I watched this man who is in his genius, his gifts, the power that he embodies and just wears and holds within himself, and then shares and receives and moves it. You know, the way he owns the stage and says what it is he wants to say through his lyrics, through the way he talks to the crowd in between the songs. He comes in like a hurricane, and just, there he is. There he is. It was so funny because he doesn't like to wear shirts. I guess he gets too sweaty. I don't know. So he comes out in sweatpants, sneakers, and nothing else. And, you know, he's very built. He obviously takes care of his body. And also, he's moving so much energy, he probably can eat all day long and never put on a pound. But he came out, and of course, you can hear all the ladies going, whoa, and you can hear all the guys going, what? And it was just so entertaining throughout the night to see someone who is unapologetic, unashamed of who he is, completely in his element, and just living, you know, full on living. And then some of the people who are like, can he do that? Is he allowed to do that? Should he be doing that? What would other people think of him doing that? What do I think of him doing that? You know, and the love he sends out, you have to be open to receiving that. And it was just such an interesting evening. It was beautiful. The music was incredible. His lyrics, the lights, like everything was just absolutely top notch. So if you have not been to an Imagine Dragons concert, please put that on your bucket list. They are incredible. They're worth every penny. It was the impact that his presence on the stage made with me that I really wanted to bring into the space. He is clear on what his message is, you know, be in the moment. Right at the beginning of the show, he said, I hope this is the best night of your life. And he means it. You could tell he really wants you to have so much fun in the space that he's holding. And so he gives everything he has. He shares. He talked candidly about some of his own journey, you know, things in his life that he's worked on, and introed some of the music with why and how it happened. You could just feel like he's gifting humanity. He's gifting anyone who shows up and wants to exchange with him this incredible truth and love and invitation to be bigger, to also play bigger, to step into your own gifts. You know, he really just like came in and said it and extended the invitation, and then really sort of called people out on it. You know, like, don't hide, don't play small anymore, don't not share your gifts with the world. Like, do it, because I did it. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. And that is such a theme for me in the work that I do. And so, of course, I've been listening to his music nonstop last week, this week, like even more than I usually do. And the lyrics are just so powerful when you're open to hearing what he is saying. So when I was getting ready for the space here tonight, I was feeling that claiming of your own power, you know, the claiming of what our truth is, what we know in our gut is real, and what we would die for, what we would, if we couldn't do this thing, the point of our existence wouldn't matter. You know, that like purpose, that thing that every single one of us has that's unique to each one of us. So of course, when I went to meditate right before the call, I listened to one of my Deepak meditations, and I just heard immediately, like, go to 18. I was like, okay. So number 18 was take your power back. I'm like, okay. Okay, got it. And the whole mantra was tune into your consciousness. Your consciousness, your awareness is so much bigger than what you know it to be. Your truth and your light and who you are is infinite and all-knowing. So it was beautiful alignment. So back to basics. When I heard that phrase, back to basics to me talks about consciousness. It talks about the journey of the soul inside the human body. What is that all about? Why are we here? What is it that we're supposed to be doing as souls embodied? What is it that we are all co-creating as one humanity? What is it that's happening here on Earth? Like the basics of this journey, as far as I understand it. So I'm going to meander. Again, I'm writing on my desk. I'm going to meander my way through some reflections about that and what sparked that, what I believe this is coming from. When consciousness expands, when we are going through what's called a shift in consciousness, individually and collectively. Let me backtrack. Consciousness to me is the individual expression of who I am inside of this one human journey. So there is this knowing that I am an infinite existence that will continue even when this Vivian body lifetime is complete. And that before this, I have been an infinite aspect or creative spark that has always existed and will always exist. And so consciousness is that thread of the knowing infinite universal aspect of ourselves that is not limited to this body. It's this long continuum. That's consciousness to me. And it is like a horizontal continuum. It doesn't feel like a hierarchy this way. It's like this spreading out horizontally. And consciousness is always love. Everything that we come from is love. Everything we go back to is love. Everything underneath every experience is always love. And so consciousness and love are the same. And every individual expression of consciousness, every single one of us souls in human bodies, with all of the lives we've ever lived, that consciousness coexists together as one unified field that I call all or one or source. You know, we are all from this one original energy, and we come back to that one original energy. But there are individual consciousness and sparks within that. Since we all came from one original breath, source, life, spark, light, we all came from this one original first breath. So we must all be connected then. If we all came from that, how could we not be connected? And so every aspect of consciousness, every unique one of us individuals can all be traced back to this one individual spark, breath, light source. So when we look at it that way, when I look at it that way, this is life according to the soul known as Viv. Soul known as Viv. The soul known as So and the body known as Viv. This is how I see it. We all came from this one original spark. We are all having our own individual journeys, horizontally, everyone having their own unique expressions, whether we are here on Earth or anywhere else in the universe in consciousness. We are all always connected. And then we return after this experience. We're weaving constantly in and out of everything else, expanding love in our own unique ways. So when we decide as consciousness to take on a physical body and to come here to this planet, to Earth, to this beautiful tiny blue planet, as I describe it, this tiny blue planet that has this incredible atmosphere around it that holds in everything that has ever happened, everything that will ever happen here on Earth. It's all contained in this little womb, this incubator. When we decide as souls to come here to this physical planet and have these experiences, We are taking this infinite knowing consciousness connected to everything. We're trying to fit it into this one body with a brain and bones and muscles and things, and you need to eat and you need to keep cool and hot. And what? Like, consciousness in the physical form is almost comical. It's like, how could that infinite aspect of a soul possibly function in a human form and then create other things with other people and all live in a physical world? What is so magical about Earth, what I believe is so magical about Earth, is that when we're here, when we are in this energy field known as Earth, we usually forget everything that we were before, and everything will be later. And we believe that this is real, that this body is what matters, that this house, that these possessions, that this job, that money, all this stuff is real. And so we get completely immersed in this belief, what many mystics call the Maya, the illusion, this belief that everything that we see and can touch and feel is real. And everything we can't see that's existing beyond the veil that we kind of know, sense, think might be happening in our third eye, it's not real. And so we live in this duality of shutting down the infinite, shutting down the knowing, and believing only what we can experience in this 3D reality. Until, this is my storytelling at its best, until one day consciousness shifts. Oh God, if you can't laugh at yourself, literally, what's the point? So one day is the name of my book, which is why I always think it's hysterical anytime I hear the phrase one day, because I'm like, one day, one day it's going to happen. One day consciousness will expand. One day you'll wake up. One day it'll all be over. You'll be back to being a soul, and you won't even be here in the human body anymore. But until then, let's stick with the story. The story is, everything I see and experience is real. And everything I intuitively know, feel in my heart, dream of, daydream about, is not real. It's so backwards. Anyway, so one day consciousness shifts. So here's what I describe in the book. And when I say it, it's like the book. Like the book of knowledge, the book. Yeah, it's a book. It's a really damn good book, but it's a book. So what's true is what we experience as we're going through this journey of life. So one day, when we arrive in this experience of Earth, the reality, the dimension of consciousness that is common, that is experienced by most souls in human bodies, is what I've called third dimension. Many others have called it that also. I'm just going to own what I talk about, and then everyone else can have their own explanation of what they believe. So third dimension to me is this very physical reality. I see, I know, because it's all here in front of me. It's a very fear-based reality. So it is more common for us to shrink and to live smaller than what we believe. No, that's not true. It is more comfortable for us to play small, to be small, to fit in with everybody else. And so fear is what drives this third dimension of consciousness. And it's teaching us it's not wrong to be in third dimension. It's a choice. And when we forget that we are these infinite streams of consciousness, these souls coming into human bodies, when we forget that whole part of the story, we choose to forget that because we know in this third dimension we're going to learn a lot. We're going to learn a lot. We're going to clear a lot of beliefs, limitations. We're going to find strength. We're going to find courage. We're going to forget everything so we can learn as we remember it just how magical it is to be a soul. When we forget, what's a good analogy for that? It's like riding a bike for some reason comes to mind. When you when you're first learning to ride a bike, there's this challenge. It's like, oh, I hope I can do it. I hope I don't fall down. I hope nobody has to hold me for the rest of my life as I ride a bike. You have this inner desire to be able to achieve something that's very tangible. And so you push and push and push. And in the final moment, the first time where you put your arms out and you're hanging on tight and you're riding that bicycle down the street all by yourself, there's an exhilaration, a thrill that nobody can give you. You can only give it to yourself because you have moved through a process of learning something new. It's beyond a word, a definition, a description. It's like a feeling of such satisfaction. And so it's the same for us when we are souls who know everything, who already have all the answers. You know, before we come to Earth, every option that's ever possibly going to happen in this journey is laid out on a table with our guides. All of them. Everything. And so we sit and we're like, yeah, I'm willing to do this and this and that and this and this. Sure, it'll all work. And then when we're here, all the options are forgotten. We choose that. We completely choose to forget all of it. And then we're navigating in these relationships and jobs and schools and homes and communities and cultures and countries and all of it. We're trying to navigate all of it with not even remembering what we thought we might create. That choice is so that as we go through each of the lessons, as we master each of the relationships, as we master the creative soul gifts that we're meant to bring forward, as we learn all the new things that we've probably done in other times and other places that we chose to forget. So when we come here again and remember it, there is this exhilaration. It's the physical embodiment, that the physical, tangible experience of it. That's what makes Earth so incredible. We forget it all, and then we're here, and we delight in the remembering of it. That's the whole point. Except in the third dimension, it's so hard. And we forgot how hard it would be. And we forgot it would hurt, and it would make us mad, and we would get upset, and we would not get things as fast as we wanted or the way that we wanted, and other people would impact what is happening. What? Right? Like the third dimension is so difficult. And so we're here and we're like, oh, this journey, like this sucks. Why would I do this? And there may be little glimpses where the soul is like, it's okay, don't forget, it's going to be okay. And so we struggle. Many of us struggle in this third dimension of consciousness. And I say all of this with humor because I know we chose it. Whether you believe it or not, whether any part of what I'm saying resonates for you or not, I know we chose this. Every soul in a human body chose the experience that they are having. As awful, as difficult, as painful, as exhilarating, as amazing as it is, we all chose what we are moving through. And in the third dimension, it can be overwhelming. So this third dimension of consciousness is kind of like our starting point for many souls in human bodies. There are some who take shortcuts, because there are always some who take shortcuts, but the majority of souls in human bodies start at third. Until one day, consciousness shifts. And when it shifts, what happens is things shake a little, right? So moving from third dimension to fourth dimension of consciousness, of love, of awareness, of awakening, moving from that third to fourth, there's like these little flashes of, whoa, that felt weird, or I wasn't quite expecting that, or those people were really nice to me, and I'm not sure why they're being so nice to me. Or, I mean, there's just a million ways it can happen. But something inside becomes very hopeful, very, there's light. Light comes in to the whole experience, and it's shaky like this. It's like, something's different. I'm not quite sure what it is, but something is starting to shift. Something's a little better. Not quite sure why, but it's a little better. And so fourth, as I described in the book, we kind of bounce. It's like we have these moments of being super happy and knowing that the world is going to be okay and everyone actually loves each other, and then back. And it's hard and it's dense and it's difficult and we have forgotten again and we're back in the belief that everything is going to be a struggle. And so we kind of bounce in fourth until one day something happens and we move to fifth. And fifth dimension is just this, it's a horizontal expansion again. So it's like, oh, wait, we are actually here for something other than to suffer and work all day long and not get what we want. Like, we're here to love each other. We're here to actually support each other. I'm here to create something. I'm here with purpose. I don't know what the hell my purpose is, but I have purpose. I have something I'm supposed to be doing. There's a reason I'm here in this body. I don't know what it is yet, but God, whoever, right? Source, someone put me here on earth because I'm supposed to be here. And so we start to connect to that infinite consciousness within. Something lands, something settles, and we start to feel this, I wonder. And that consciousness dimensional shift, that expansion from third to fourth to fifth, puts us into this new way of communicating, this new way of connecting. It's more heart-based. It's a little bit slower. It's not quite as impatient. It's not quite as, there's not as much fear as there was in third dimension. It's good. It's really good. I've talked about this in other videos and many meditations, and so I had to laugh when this afternoon it was like, back to basics. I'm like, back to basics. This is as basic as it is, in my opinion. We are here as souls in human bodies at this time on this planet because consciousness is shifting as a collective humanity from third dimension to fourth dimension to fifth dimension. Whether we like it or not, whether we're aware of it or not, whether you're on board with it or not, that is what is happening right now. Third to fourth to fifth. And however long this shift takes, by the end of this shift, I believe it's only going to be a couple years. By the end of this shift, everyone who is on this planet, who is on Earth, is going to be in this fifth dimension of consciousness, which accepts that we are all connected. Where there are no walls, there are no divisions, there isn't this coming from lack or fear or judgment and projecting onto the other. It's coming from this knowing that we are all here with purpose. We are all collaborating together. We are all co-creating together. Humanity and Gaia, Earth. This planet that we live on is part of our co-creation, a very, very essential part. Because if her atmosphere stops working, if her balance inside gets off, if her rotation around the sun gets wonky, every drop of life on this planet is going to change. It's science. It's science that I don't have all the facts about, but it's a knowing. That's the basics. That's the basics. The basics is we are souls in human bodies. We are here to expand consciousness, our own first, and then the collective consciousness by all of us co-creating together. And we are co-creating with our planet. And she is co-creating with us. So every action we have directly impacts her ability to hold steady, her ability to regenerate, the amount of energy that we send into our earth, and the amount of energy she sends back to us directly impacts how long our planet can rotate around the sun. Because we are co-creating together. So perhaps I should call this a wake up instead of back to the basics. Like, wake up, everybody. It is about the basics. It is about the basics. And this veil that we have been believing to be true, that we are all living in and around and under, you know, that we pull back and then pull back over our heads. I see the truth. Oh, I don't want to see the truth, right? Lift the veil, close the veil. Like, we play these silly games of hide and seek with what we know to be true. And so how does that tie back to Imagine Dragons? He's living fiercely out on the edge, saying, wake up, everybody. Be who you are meant to be. Claim your power. Step onto your stage. Create magic with others. Express yourself. Speak your truth. Like, bring forward all that you are meant to be and do it as big as you can. And then we're all elevating. We're all more present. We're all co-creating in a new way. That's the model, right, that we can follow. And we don't have to. We can choose. I say this in the book too. You can choose to pull the cover over your heads. You can choose, no, 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 no. Right? I don't hear anything Viv just said. I don't believe anything that people are writing about climate change, about our planet in crisis. What? I don't want to get engaged. I don't want to hear anymore. Right? It's so easy to just pull the covers back. So back to the basics. The basics are, we are souls in human bodies, here to expand consciousness on this planet, with this planet. And the way we do that is in our own expansion. Dan Reynolds is not on the stage saying, every one of you, you need to be a musician. You need to be a singer. You need to come be on a big stage just like me. You need to write all the same lyrics I'm writing. You need to travel the same concert venues I'm traveling. He doesn't say that. He says, be your best self. Be who you are supposed to be. And that's how we expand consciousness. That's how we heal our planet and heal humanity. It's not everyone be the same, everyone follow the same path. It's get really still and quiet and listen. Find out who you are inside. Follow the guidance that you get in here, in the third eye, right here. Follow the guidance that Source sends through the crown and into the head. You'll know, you feel it, and then you express it through your throat. And then you are your own creator. You follow the path of whatever it is that you are meant to be doing in this journey. And as we're all doing that individually, suddenly magic happens, right? Because Dan Reynolds on a stage inspires me to go, oh, it's time. It is time. Like, I've been doing it this way, and now it's time for this way, right? When we see someone in their genius and their gifts, we are so inspired to come back into our own space and go, what's mine? What's my gift? What's my thing I'm supposed to be doing? Let me start. Let me begin. And it takes awareness of yourself to be able to follow the path that you are meant to be taking. Dan Reynolds is the same, right? Like, I'm sure he wrote many songs that were never big hits. I'm sure he thought maybe he was a waiter for a while. I don't know what his past was, but I'm sure there was a long and winding road for him to get to the point where he's on a stage in his actual brilliance and genius. We all have, stops and starts and places where we go a little bit this way, go a little bit this way. Oh, pull the covers, pull them back over, try again, right? We kind of wind our way through it. And that's the exhilaration. It's when you ride a bike. If you just got on the bike, maybe some of you did. I was not as good at riding a bike. It took me a while. But if you just get on a bike and start riding, okay, right? Like, there's no exhilaration. Maybe there is because the wind's on your face and it feels fun and everyone's watching you and clapping, but it's not as satisfying. It's not as exciting as if you've had to work to get there. And then suddenly you're riding the bike, everyone's cheering. It's so awesome, right? It's like in Moana, it's like, yeah! That scene where it's so cute. Yes. If it was super easy, we wouldn't have that immense satisfaction inside of I figured it out. I figured it out. I know what it is. I know what I'm here to do. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. It wouldn't matter as much to us. And that's, one of the beautiful gifts of Gaia, of Earth, of being a human. It's that it takes so much time and attention and usually so much effort. There's this journey, even the words, it's a journey. It takes so long. It doesn't have to take so long. But time is one of the ways that we play here on this planet. Time can feel like forever. It can feel like a blink of an instant. And the way that we navigate that also adds to how much we enjoy the journey. So, the basics again. We are souls who chose to come and have human experiences here on Gaia, this beautiful blue planet that is hurtling through the universe around the sun in an amazing rotation that is so steady and so consistent. And part of the basics is that we are here to take care of Gaia, to give her energy and to receive energy from her. And that co-creation, that flow of energy going back and forth, is what allows our planet to continue to thrive. So as consciousness shifts here on Gaia, because it is, very rapidly, very powerfully, love is expanding, consciousness is expanding, it's all the same thing. As consciousness shifts and expands on our planet, especially over the next couple of years, we are co-creating this new reality where we move from third dimension to fourth dimension to fifth dimension of consciousness. And so the resistance that we have to this expansion, to this rippling out of love around our planet, the resistance that we have to that is going to determine how fun or how difficult our journey will be. Our hiding and pulling the covers back over our heads is going to keep us in resistance. Our willingness to lift the veil, to become more aware, to do our own inner searching of what am I here for? What is my purpose? What can I contribute to humanity, to Gaia? What's my unique expression in this lifetime? How do I take this infinite knowing as consciousness and express it here on this planet as me? And do I have the courage to do that? How do I find the courage if I don't have it? And then just begin. Just start. Just start. Make a video, write an article, make a new friend, start a podcast. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. If I can do it, anybody can do this. It's so funny. Like, I've noticed for myself, well, there's one other thing I want to say about consciousness shifting. Yes, start a podcast. That would be my little nugget there. If you want to know how to start a podcast, let me know. It's not that difficult, I'll tell you. When consciousness shifts, this is the other piece I wanted to say as I start coughing. When consciousness shifts and we are remembering who we are as souls and we are in these physical human bodies, it is often a physical shift as well as a mental and emotional and spiritual shift. So moving from third dimension to fourth dimension, from fourth dimension to fifth dimension, and then after fifth dimension, you can read more if you want in my book. It gives you all of them up to 15. We got to 13, 15, I forget. We're already beyond that. But each time consciousness shifts, because we are in physical bodies, there are physical reactions that happen. So our physical bodies are trying to keep up with the expansion that is happening internally through our chakra system, through our spirituality, through I don't even know what other words you would give, your cellular knowing. Like as things are realigning in the mind, body, spirit that we are, the body has some kind of a reaction. And I described that very specifically, how I went through each of the shifts and what the reaction felt like in me. But often it's going to be physical, like a fever, diarrhea, throwing up, nausea, headaches. Some people get really dizzy and they have to lie down for a whole day. There's all kinds of physical reactions. When we are resisting that, when we feel something is off and we kind of feel like we're moving, something's different, but I don't know what's going on with me. And that's that third to fourth dimension, for example. I feel weird. I don't know what it is. It's not a normal. It's not a flu. Maybe it's a flu. I don't know. I just feel weird, right? When we resist that and we try to push through it, and we're trying to override what the body is telling us, we're making things harder. You're really delaying the inevitable. Because when your soul wants your consciousness to shift, it's going to. It's just going to happen. And you can resist and fight and argue and tell me it's not going on, but if that's what's going on with your soul, it's what's going on. And so your body is just trying to keep up with it. Lean into what your body needs. Allow space for what your body is telling you. Every shift I've had, there has been some physical change in my diet. There's something I can't eat, or I want to eat, or I need more water, I need less water. I'm burning up with fever and I just need to like lay under a fan for hours and try and cool off. There's a physical need that your body is trying to release energy and allowing new energy and recalibrate, rebalance. As that's happening, if you learn to listen to your body and just trust what it's telling you. If you need sleep, stop what you're doing and go sleep. If you need to be held, stop what you're doing and ask to be held. Like whatever it is that your body is craving, give it that. And then allow yourself to ease through the shift in the consciousness. Allow it to just be graceful. Surrendering to the process, because it's going to happen. Whether you are on board or not, it's going to happen. So allowing that easy transition, it will just make your journey so much more peaceful. And then, allowing support. Talk to the people around you. Hang on, sorry, my computer beeped at me. As I allow the people around me to support me. Oh, the whole computer is going crazy. Hang on. Here we go. I'm back. There may be that momentary craziness. It's beeping at me again. Hang on. That's how it feels sometimes. It's like, how do I get my bearings? So you breathe, you ask for the people around you to be there, to talk about it, to support you. You read about what I describe as you shift through those levels. There's a knowing inside of the mind, body, spirit. There's a knowing that something is changing and something is different, even if you don't have a rational answer for it. And so allow your soul to guide you to the resources, to the support that you need. So watch the videos I've made that talk about consciousness. Meditate, sit quietly and tune into your soul and allow the information to come in gently. I mean, it's happening. It's happening, people. So back to the basics. We are souls in human bodies and we chose this. And with such excitement and delight and reverence. I've said this so many times before and I absolutely believe it. This is the place to be in the universe right now, on this planet at this time, right now, this year, next year, the year after. This is why we all came. It's so that we could go through this experience together. It's so that we could come and bring our gifts and go, yes, I am here Just like Dan Reynolds on stage, I am here and I am doing it. And it's brilliant. It's so much fun, right? That's the attitude. And yes, he went through a lot to get to that part and that moment, and he talks about it. And yes, it takes discipline and time and effort. And also, he's on stage inviting thousands of people to have the best night of their life with him. He knew that's what he wanted. That was what his soul agreed to when he decided to come and be a soul in a human body. And he's living up to his own promise. That's riding the bike, riding the bike down the road, hanging on, just like singing as you go. We chose to be here at this time on this planet because we knew all is possible. Everything we've ever wanted to create is possible. As humanity shifts, as Gaia continues to rumble and move and shake everybody awake, as we co-create a new reality, all of it is possible. So hang on for the ride. It's going to be good. It's already good, and it's only going to get better. So back to the basics. Back to the basics. There were a few songs. It was so funny when I was tuning in, like I hit shuffle on my phone. I was like, what song do I want to play? And there were a couple, so I'm going to give you a couple lyrics, even though I know we're going a little longer. Okay. The first one was Fleetwood Mac, I Don't Want to Know. And I had to laugh. When that was the title that I saw on my phone, I was like, I don't want to know. Is that really what we're going to put with Back to the Basics? But it feels true. There are many who don't want to know, and they don't want to know, and they do not want to know, and they do not want you to tell them. They are not interested in knowing. So, okay. Here's what it says. I don't want to know the reasons why love keeps right on walking on down the line. I don't want to stand between you and love. Honey, I just want you to feel fine. What was the other part I was laughing at? Finally, baby, the truth has been told. Now you tell me that I'm crazy. It's nothing that I didn't know. Isn't that awesome? Trying to survive. Oh, you say you love me, but you don't know. You got me rocking and a reeling. I don't want to know the reasons why love keeps on walking down the line. I had to laugh because there are so many who are like, no, don't tell me. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. I think you're crazy. You're crazy. None of that is true. I don't want to know. And yet the world is shaking awake, and it's very uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable because there's so much resistance to what's happening. So back to the basics. Rewind the video, watch it again, read the book, figure out the dimensions of consciousness, and ease into the journey. So the second song was the one that I immediately thought of. I was like, no. We're not going to do I Don't Want to Know. I know what song I want to play. And the song is Fire of Time, and it's by David Ramirez. It's one of my favorite songs for this very reason. These lyrics. I mean, it's just incredible. I think it's about a breakup that he had with his girlfriend. But what I like are these lyrics. You remind me who I was and who I want to be. You remind me that though not whole, I am not empty. There are things I thought I lost in the fire of time, things I thought again I'll never see. But when it's hard for me to recall my name, you remind me. That's consciousness. That's the infinite soul that knows we have always been here, we will always continue to exist. That's what we forget in the fire of time. And so I'm here. The I Don't Want to Know song, the crazy woman. I'm here to say, I'm not crazy. I know what is true. I know the basics, and I'm here to remind you of the basics. We are souls, infinite souls, in very limited human bodies who chose this time and this planet to come and expand consciousness together. Which leads me to the third song. Everything's in threes lately. I just love it. Threes all over the place. It's by Sarah McLachlan. It's called Answer. I have chills every time I hear this because I love this song so much. I will be the answer at the end of the line. I will be there for you while you take the time. In the burning of uncertainty, I will be your solid ground. I will hold the balance if you can't lock down. Look, lock down or look down. If it takes my whole life, I won't break. I won't bend. It'll all be worth it in the end. Because I can only tell you what I know, that I need you in my life. When the stars have all gone out, you'll still be burning so bright. Yeah. Answer. Source creates all. We are infinite consciousness in between, and at the end of the line, there is source, and we come back. We come back to that field of oneness. That is truth. So back to the basics. Here you go. Share it with your friends, have book discussions, listen to the songs, listen to the music, read my book, explore all of this. Challenge yourself to see where are you in this dimensional path of consciousness. Where are you? And where are you going? And why are you here? And then be that, do that, express that, live that. So good. All right, I'm off for a client session. 7 o'clock, I've got 8 minutes. So much love to each of you. Mwah.